David Parker.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Does he stand by all his statements?
Honourable Bill English on behalf of the Prime Minister.
On behalf of the Prime Minister, yes.
Supplementary question, Honourable David Parker.
Does he stand by his statement that, quotes, "My style is to be open and transparent"? If so, why won't he be open and transparent and tell New Zealanders what Claudette Hauiti used her parliamentary charge card for and how much she spent?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, the Prime Minister is the most open and transparent Prime Minister we've ever had, which accounts for why 70% of New Zealanders prefer him as Prime Minister, and I think less than 7% prefer the Leader of the Opposition. With respect to Ms Hauiti, she has, of course, explained her expenditure this morning in some detail.
Supplementary.
Order. Supplementary question, Honourable David Parker.
Why won't the Prime Minister disclose to New Zealanders what his office and Chief of Staff must have found out after investigations into this matter, especially when the Prime Minister said of his Chief of Staff, quotes, "When they talk to him, they talk to me"?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, my understanding is the member in question has taken up the matter with the Parliamentary Services and with the Government Whip, and believes, as she has said today, that as of this morning all matters are resolved. And the Prime Minister, speaking on behalf of the Prime Minister, he won't be aware of the details of that.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Honourable David Parker.
How was it open and transparent of the Prime Minister to refuse to read the police report about John Banks' declaration of electoral donations, which allowed the Prime Minister to pretend that John Banks had done nothing wrong so he could keep Mr Banks' vote and prop up his government?
Honourable
Mr Speaker,
Bill English.
the member is wrong in his description of those events, as I think the Parliament is aware. Mr Banks has faced due process. There's been consequences for him, and actually, as far as Mr Banks, the courts and the Parliament's concerned, the matter's resolved.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Honourable David Parker.
How was it open and transparent to reinstate Peter Dunn as a minister without first requiring Mr Dunn to state whether or not he did leak the Kitteridge report?
Honourable Bill English on behalf of the Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, the Prime Minister has been completely open and transparent about those matters. Everyone knows Mr Dunn's point of view about the events that he's referring to. Everyone knows what the Prime Minister has done. There's nothing secret about it. I just wish the Labor Party wouldn't try and keep secret how few people in their caucus support their leader.
Order.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Honourable David Parker.
Is he concerned that his pattern of behaviour is now so clear that newspapers today reported in respect of this latest instance involving Claudette Hauiti that, quote, "Key's promise of greater openness is looking threadbare"?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, absolutely not. This is the most transparent, most accessible Prime Minister New Zealand has ever had. I can recall Helen Clark as the previous Prime Minister fighting the Ombudsman for 2 years to prevent transcripts of the post-Cabinet press conference being released. No one can imagine John Key doing that. He's very open, very transparent, and that is one reason why even close to a majority of Labor voters now prefer John Key as Prime Minister, and of course we know why that is.
Right. Question number 3, Dr Cam Corder.
Mr Speaker, to the Minister of Education, what recent announcements has she made on public achievement information?